God creates. So before we go into this opening presentation, I want you to gently close your eyes and think about one thing that if you brought into your life right now would change everything. Now this one thing, I love Caitlin's story, could be a trip with a future romantic partner to an exotic location. This one thing could be conceiving a child. As a father, I can tell you being a dad is one of the most beautiful things I've ever manifested. This one thing could be healing yourself of an illness that's really wrecking your quality of life. Healings happen all the time. We'll be hearing tomorrow from Joe Dispenza, the master of healing. This one thing could be tapping into greater spiritual ability, maybe learning how to truly understand and listen to your intuition. You'll learn about that from Sonia Choquette, who's written over 20 best-selling books on intuition. This one thing could be a business that you scale to its first $1 million. This one thing could be an acting role that you've been dying to get. This one thing could be that book that hits #1 in its category in Amazon. I want you to think of that one thing. Now, this is what is really, really important. Open your eyes and read this quote. This is from Conversations with God by Neale Donald Walsch. If you followed my work, you know how big a fan I am of this book, right? Conversations with God. Neale is an incredible guy. It's a channeled work. It was on the New York Times bestsellers list for 5 straight years. And last year, I reread all 4 of the channeled books, Conversations with God, book 1, 2, 3, 4. And of all 4 of these books, I believe that this sentence was the most important sentence. The secret of all masters is to stop changing one's mind. Keep choosing the same thing. So many of us, especially if you're American, you constantly flip your manifesting. With every new Instagram reel you see, with every new advertisement, with every new grand proclamation by the political party that you follow, you change your mind. But Neale Donald Walsch, in his Conversations with God book, says, pick one thing and just frickin' stick to it, because there's this concept called time, which I'm sure you're all familiar with. And as you order in that one thing, just like it takes time for the Instacart delivery to come, it takes time for that delivery to come to you from the universe. But many of us change our Instacart, I'm speaking in Instacart so that Americans understand. Many of us change our Instacart order before the first package arrives, right? That's not, the universe works like Instacart. So close your eyes again, go back to that thing, that one thing, and ask yourself, will this one thing still be the one thing 1 month from now? And if it is, you're on the right track. Think of one major goal, the kind of goal that has energy behind it, the soulmate, the dream house, the $1 million business. Hold it in your mind. Now, as you hold it in your mind, I want you to imagine that you are opening up your Universe app. Think of this as not Instacart, but Insta-Manifest. You search for that one thing, and you click order. And you see a coupon that says, congratulations, you are our 1 billionth customer. Delivery is free. Now you've ordered it. I want you to put the app down and open your eyes. What we're going to do today is, if there's one gift I believe we can give you, is to make sure that that one thing, we set you with the right mindset. So when you walk out of this room, when you finish this Zoom live stream, that one thing is more real than ever. And all the right mindset elements are in place for that one thing. So, in this opening presentation, I'm going to share 3 stories to help you understand the mindset. You're going to hear from a great mentor of mine, Bob Proctor. I'm going to share a story about a magical Nigerian kid whom I went to school with. I'm going to share a story about a Malaysian actress, Michelle Yeoh, and how she inspired me. I am from Malaysia. Michelle Yeoh won the Oscar for Best Actress. That was a big deal for everyone who was Malaysian. Through these stories, I'm going to get you to answer 9 honest questions. We'll do 6 questions today, and maybe the final 3 questions, if we don't have time, we'll do it tomorrow before lunch. These 9 questions that you answer will help you zero in to understand if there's any manifesting block preventing the one thing from coming to you. Now keep in mind, with your universal ordering app, you don't have to choose one thing. This one thing though, and these 9 questions, will give you a recipe, a formula that you can apply to thing number 2, and thing number 3, and thing number 4. Now these 9 questions that I'm going to ask you, I've arranged them into a framework called Desire, Believe, and Expectancy. Can anyone tell me where this concept came from? Jose Silva, right? Jose Silva was the master of manifesting. He created the Silva method. The Silva method was the very first product that Mind Valley launched. The Silva method, Jose Silva trained 6 million people in accessing altered states, in developing waking psychic ability, in healing, and in manifesting. By training 6 million people, his methodology became insanely precise. I became a Silva instructor in 2002, and we got to a level where in 18 hours we could train someone to be functionally psychic. That means you'd be able to give someone the name, age, location, and gender of someone unknown to them. They'd be able to sense what was off with this person's body. 18 hours, and every human being could do it, except people, 10% of the people who were like absolutely resistant and would say, this doesn't exist, this is not real, this is unscientific. You know, the husbands who were dragged in by their wives. And I bet there's some of you here too, right? So I embrace you. So Jose said that all the gaps, all the blocks of manifesting fall into these 3 areas: desire, belief, expectancy. Now I know what you're thinking. That sounds really simplistic. My morning Starbucks order is more complex than that. So, but the reason is, I want to keep it simple. We want to start simple. There are actually 15 manifesting blocks that we really go deep in our manifesting mastery program. There are 15 manifesting blocks. And the different teachers in the next 2 weeks will slowly by slowly mention these blocks. Some of them will use different words, different languages, but it's the same 15 blocks. But all of these blocks fall under desire, belief, and expectancy. So let's start with the first one, desire. I'm going to explain the concept of desire so that you can see this goal that I'm choosing, is this really something that I'm desiring in the right way? And before I begin, I need to share a story. Okay, so look at this room right now. Just turn around and look at this room. There's 1,400 people here. And those of you on Zoom, 13,000 people bought a ticket. Some are going to be attending this session of the live stream. Some will be attending at 2 a.m. But this is huge for me. 13,000 people watching me speak. But that is how I started. That is actually a picture of the seminar room I started in, that I was teaching in for 5 years. That is at the Holiday Inn on 59th Street in New York. It's not even a 4-star hotel, it's a 3-star hotel, okay? That is what I started in. And there are no students there. I did have students, guys. I wasn't that pathetic. But I wanted to respect the privacy of my students, so I took that picture after they left. Okay, you can see the big difference. So I've been doing this for 5 years. I was teaching Silva Method classes for 5 years. There were hundreds of other Silva Method instructors all around the world. And I was making decent money. I liked it. It was an average life, but it was decent. But my background was computer engineering. And as a side hustle, I built websites for great teachers. So the movie Secret had come out. And this man, Bob Proctor, had rose to prominence. Anyone remember Bob Proctor? Brilliant guy. When I was a teenager, I would pick up books on my dad's bookshelf about Bob Proctor. So Bob needed a guy to help him with his websites. I was that guy. I built one of his early websites, 2007, 2008. I was just the engineering guy, and Bob became a mentor. He took a liking to me. When Bob came to Malaysia, my first ever speaking gig, Bob brought me on stage to introduce him. That was my only job. I had to introduce Bob Proctor, and I was so nervous I completely messed that up. Now, Bob was very patient. He has a judgy face, as you can tell. Like, look at that face. Like, why is it that wise people always have a judgy face? They know something we don't know. And Bob had the most judgy face, but he was a great mentor. So one day I'm flying to New York to teach a Silva Method class. Now I was living in Malaysia back then. I would just become a father. My son Hayden was 1 year old. So I fly to New York. I'm about to teach the class. I teach Saturday, Sunday, 9-10-hour days. I would make $5,000 in profit, well, between 3 and 5 grand, and I would be happy, because when you take 5,000 US dollars, you go back to Malaysia, man, you live like a king. That is a lot of money in my country, okay? So I show up to New York to teach my class, and Bob happens to be doing an event in New York for thousands of people. So Bob said, Vishen, I have a lunch break. Come, let's hang out. Let's catch up over lunch. I haven't seen the guy in about 1 year at this point. I go have lunch with Bob, and Bob says, Vishen, what brings you to New York? And I'm so excited. I say, Bob, since you last saw me, I'm no longer an engineer. I now am teaching Silva Method classes. I have 40 people. I lied, it was actually 33. I have 40 people showing up to my class at the Holiday Inn, 59th Street. And I'm gonna be teaching them how to manifest, I'm gonna be teaching them intuition, and Bob is like, wait. How many people did you say, 400? I go, no, 40. He goes, 40. And he does the judgy face. And I know something is coming. He said, what do you make from these 40 people? And I go, Bob, I'm gonna make 5,000. I lied, I was actually gonna make 3,300 bucks, right? I'm gonna make 5,000. And he goes, 5,000. How long was the flight here from Malaysia? I go, 19 hours. He goes, wow. How old is your kid? I go, 1. He goes, 19-hour flight. His eyes are closed. He's touching his chest, so I know something deep is coming out. This is coming from the soul of the universe, which resides in Bob Proctor's heart. He says, 19 hours, you left your 1-year-old child for about 5 days, and you're walking away with $5,000. Well, at least you flew business class. My face dropped. I didn't know what to say. Bob sees my head drop. He goes, you flew coach, didn't you? And I said, yes. And now I'm starting to justify, yes, but you know, there were peanuts. I had a great book. I popped some sleeping pills. I passed out. It was nothing. Bob is like, Vishen. And now he's touching his face. So now when he's touching his face, I know this is going to be profound wisdom. He goes, Vishen, I wouldn't do that if I were you. And now I am pissed. How dare Bob Proctor challenge my mediocre lifestyle? How dare he tell me that I'm average? How dare he question my business? And he goes, son, I wouldn't do that if I were you. You gotta think bigger, son. And then he crunches up his face again. And that wisdom didn't land on me. What came out was furious anger. I was like, in my mind, and I didn't say this like publicly because this is Bob Proctor, right? In my mind, in my heart, I was pissed off. I was not just pissed off at Bob Proctor. Bob Proctor is Canadian. I was pissed off at Canada. Screw maple syrup, fudge hockey, Wayne Gretzky. I want to kick him in the balls. Like, how dare this Canadian man tell me that my life is mediocre and that I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing? I was so freaking furious. But those words stayed with me. You gotta dream bigger, son. So I went that Saturday, Sunday. I finished the class. That was the last time I taught a Silva Method class to 40 people. It took me 2 years to figure out what to do next. 2 years later, I launched Mind Valley Events. And that next event went from 40 people to 250 people. Went from ordinary folks to entrepreneurs. Went from just me on stage to getting Lisa Nichols, Chip Conley, the CEO of Airbnb, professors like Sri Kumar Rao. It was called AFES. It went from the Holiday Inn on 59th Street to a 5-star resort in Costa Rica. I ran a blog back then called Finer Minds. Mind Valley didn't really exist. This was 2010. But that event changed my life. That event is what led to this. And what led to that event was this judgy Canadian man. So all I want you to do right now is remember this. Bob Proctor said something to me that day, And I went back. So Saturday, Sunday, I did my class. Monday, I go back, and Facebook was a thing back then. And I changed the quote on my Facebook. So back then, Facebook had a feature called quotes. And this is the quote I put up. It's now 18 years. The same quote is the quote on my Facebook. Don't ask, am I worthy of my goals? Ask, are my goals worthy of me? Bob Proctor. So your one thing, what would Bob Proctor be saying? Would he look at you and smile? I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Bob never smiles. Would he look at you with a normal face or a judgy face? A normal face from Bob means good. Judgy face means, son, daughter, you're thinking way too small. Bob passed away in 2022. He's up there. His spirit is around us. He's judging all of us right now. So what would Bob Proctor say? See, I thought I was being noble. I was teaching people. I was flying around, coach. And I realized that we don't struggle because we don't have desire. We struggle because we're desiring the wrong things. And sometimes the things that we're desiring are simply too small, too safe, too economy class. That one thing that you have, how can you expand that? So when it comes to desire, there are 5 common blocks. Different authors will speak about it in different ways. We aren't going to go into the details of this block, but there's manifesting from the ego, there's what is called the vision gap, there's fear of success, there's guilt, there's a concept called true choice. True choice is what we did earlier. Are you going to stick to this order for the next 30 days or not? We won't go into the depths of this right now. Many different speakers over the next 2 days will cover it. But now, I want to ask you the first question. Look at that goal that you pick and honestly answer this. Type it out in your phone or write it in your journal. Is this my true desire or someone else's expectation dressed up in Gucci? If nobody saw me claim this, would it matter? Is it coming from my heart or from a Pinterest board labeled Boss Babe Vibes? Is it Instagram-induced ambition or something that my soul is asking me to choose? Is this coming from your marketing coach or your mom or from your heart? Michael Beckwith, who spoke at Manifesting Summit last year in Miami, calls this immature versus mature desire. So immature desire is desire that comes from society. Mature desire is desire that comes from the soul. It's what your heart and soul knows you need to do. So ask yourself, if nobody saw me get this, there was no post, no applause, would I still want it? How many of you here think the answer is yes? Raise your hand. Okay, those of you on Zoom, you can raise your hand there. If it isn't, it's okay. It's okay. It may mean that you're picking something that truly doesn't resonate with you. Okay? And don't worry, you can change the order. But I want you to walk out by tomorrow with the right order placed. So, if the one thing fails this, it's not the one thing. You're going to have to pick another one thing. And then you're going to run the same test on it. Now let's go on to the second question. Does this desire turn me on emotionally? When I imagine this coming true, how do you feel? If your dream doesn't make your nervous system go, wait, are we even allowed to do this? Then maybe it's too small. So Joe Vitale, who's another great author, he has an interesting pulse check for goals. Vitale's pulse check is this: a good goal should scare you just a little, but excite you a lot. If it doesn't scare you, you're not going to grow, and you're probably thinking too small. So now, go back to that one thing. Does it scare you a little? 5%, 10%? And does it excite you a lot? If you aren't feeling that emotion towards it, and it's about 90%, gosh, I'm so excited. 10%, my God, this is a little scary. If it's not at least 10% scary, too small. What's the vibe check here, guys? How many of you here say, my second goal fits in? How many of you here got goal number 1 and goal number 2? Yes for both. Okay, so look at the room. So already a lot of you here, the majority of you, failed vibe 1 and failed vibe 2. Don't worry about it. This is just talk number 1, okay? Proctor is judging you. I want you to know that. Like, he may be dead, but his soul is everywhere, peeping over your shoulder, judging you. But you will have the next 2 days to go ahead and fine-tune that goal. Now, you ready for number 3? Okay, so number 3 under desire is this. Am I afraid of who I have to become to hold this? You don't fear success. You fear becoming the type of person who has multiple Google calendars, an assistant who uses Asana and Airtable, and non-stop WhatsApp messages. Some goals make you famous but hollow. Others make you you. Is this goal that you're choosing something that will make you become the person that you would be proud of, that your inner child would be proud of? We don't fear the goal frequently. We fear what that goal is causing us to awaken into. What is that you fear? Being a leader? Employing people? Becoming a mother or a father? Becoming someone's soulmate? What is it that you fear? So go back to that one goal. Am I afraid of who I'd have to become to hold this? Like I said, 10% of the emotions. If 10% is fear, that's good. It means you're stretching yourself. 10% we can figure it out. But if it's a lot of fear, then there might be some work that we need to do. And again, we won't do the work now. This is just a pulse check. But what you will start to see before the end of this presentation is where your blocks might be. And the beautiful thing about seeing the blocks is once you see the block, you can't unsee it. Now you can find a way to fix that block, to patch that hole, to pave that pothole. How many of you, just let's be completely vulnerable, would say yes to this? You're afraid of the person you have to become. Raise your hand. Amazing. It's quite a number. I'm there too. I'm stepping into something new. I'm afraid of who I have to become to get there. So this is very, very, very reasonable. But by knowing it, you can fix it. So now we've answered the 3 questions related to desire. But Jose didn't stop at desire. Jose also spoke about belief. Now I want to share with you one thing that happened to me. So Bob Proctor told me that I need to quit my job, I need to think bigger, I need to be doing bigger events, and it took me 2 years to figure it out. I want to share with you one little thing that happened in those 2 years. And that one little thing that happened in those 2 years is I got really super specific on my desire. I ended up doing Lifebook, which is a program in Chicago. Anyone here familiar with Lifebook? Okay, so I'm proud to say we just, Mind Valley just merged with Lifebook. Sorry guys, my mic fell off my ear. Could I just get some help? Oh, I think I fixed it. Is it fixed? Does my ear look funky? You got it? Okay. So I did this event in Chicago called Lifebook, and Lifebook is a 19-hour event. Now with AI, they've shortened it to about 6 hours, but you end up with a 100-page book of all of your desires in 12 different categories. So one of the areas that Lifebook has you look at is quality of life. I want to bring this up because quality of life is so important. Whatever goal you're picking, whatever is this one thing, you want to ensure that it's not going to create a bad quality of life, meaning long hours, incredible stress, huge strains on your nervous system, the inability to spend time with your loved ones. So Lifebook has you focus on money, has you look at your career, but they also say, look at your quality of life. So what I'm showing you are actual pages from my Lifebook, what I wrote down in 2010. You see anything interesting, feel free to grab it. Lifebook makes you go really big. So the first thing that I wrote down in quality of life was things such as my premise. Your premise is, what do you believe? Because your beliefs are going to be affecting your goals. We're going to come to beliefs in a moment. I believe I can afford the very best things in life. I believe I have a responsibility to create the best quality of life for me and my loved ones. In life, it's the experiences that count more than the things. These were all my beliefs. Then, the creators of Lifebook, John and Missy Butcher, go deeper, and what they make you do is create a vision. So at this point, I've given up my silver classes. It's 2010 in April, and I start thinking, what will my future seminars look like? And I put this down. Now, you can see this is really bold. It's crazy. It's maybe insane bold. But I want to show you something, a great secret of the universe. Now, look what I put down. By the way, this is real. This is from 2010. You can see that I suck at spelling. I misspell Mediterranean, I misspell Caribbean. But I basically put down, I will visit, there was no ChatGPT and Grammarly back then, okay? Don't judge. I put down, visit 100 countries in the world, have access to influential people. I'll be one of the world's top speakers. I will own 5-star resorts. I'll go on amazing adventure trips. I'll live in luxury. I put down awesome cars. That was an immature goal. Right now I have 2 bicycles. I don't even own a car. I have gorgeous designer homes and offices, amazing travel adventures, partying in the Mediterranean, the Caribbean. I'd win an Emmy, Grammy, and Academy Award. Okay, come on, Vishen, get real. I'd be an online star in personal growth with a following of 1 million people. I put all of this down. Now, here's the crazy thing. Sometimes, when you start putting down these desires to the universe, you don't need to know the how. Don't worry about the how. The how will come to you. When Sonia Choquette takes the stage, you learn about intuition, how goals can accelerate insight. I didn't know the how, but I got very, very, very clear on the what and the why. Now, this is what happened. I got super clear on the what and the why, and 8 months after doing Lifebook, the idea for creating a festival happened. That was A-Fest. So I started doing A-Fest, same team, Laura, who's over here, Sean Royster, who's back there, same team. We created A-Fest. This was 15 years ago. And here's the crazy thing. From A-Fest, I ended up creating a festival that moved around the world. Today, I've visited 90 countries. Because I now had a stage, I brought on incredible people to come and speak at A-Fest. That's how I got to meet Lisa Nichols. That's how I got to meet Marissa Peer. Marissa Peer was in the audience at A-Fest. That's how I got to meet Jim Quick. I became one of the world's top speakers. Today, I get paid 6 figures to get on stage and speak. Get to stay in 5-star hotels, no more Holiday Inns. I didn't own a 5-star resort, but because I do A-Fest at 5-star resorts, for at least 2 weeks a year, I'm gifted the presidential suite at a 5-star resort somewhere in the world. Gorgeous designer homes. From A-Fest, we created the Mindvalley app. The Mindvalley app became so successful, we employed a team of 400 people. I wanted to give the team a beautiful space to work, so I built an office in 2019 that made it to Inc. magazine, top 10 most beautiful offices in the world. That came true. Now it keeps going on and on and on. Amazing travel adventures. The key thing about Mindvalley events are the parties. Many of you are attending the VIP party. We did an A-Fest in Croatia. We partied in the Mediterranean, exactly like I wrote it down there, even though I misspelled it. The universe doesn't care about your spelling. Okay? Caribbean. We rented a private island, partied in the Caribbean. Now this is where it gets crazy, okay? Emmy, Grammy, and Academy Award. So this is where it gets crazy. In 2015, a producer by the name of Nick Nanton says, I'd like to come to A-Fest and create a documentary around it. He creates a documentary called Live Your Quest. You will find this on IMDb. It wins 2 Emmys. Nick asked me to help produce the documentary. I put in money as the producer, so technically I produced a documentary and I've got 2 Emmys. Regional Emmys, but still Emmys. Next, to be an online star in personal growth after A-Fest, my Instagram following hit 1 million people. I got that goal. Everything came together. So you have that one big goal, right? What I want you to do, not now, but maybe during lunch, there's one big goal. Maybe it's to be a father. Maybe it's to start your $1 million business. I want you to make a list of all the non-negotiable quality of life that you want to attach to this goal. I want to be a father, but I want to have peace of mind. I never want to feel like I don't have time for my children. I want to start a $1 million company, but I want to be able to do it working no more than 35 hours a week. I want to lose weight and get fit, but I want to do it a healthy way, not being hooked on a drug like Ozempic. By the way, Eric Admides is in the audience, WildFit. So how can you add quality of life to these goals? Now, let's go on to belief. But before we do that, let's recap. Is this my true desire or someone else's expectation dressed up in Gucci? Number 2, does this desire turn me on emotionally? Number 3, am I afraid of who I have to become to hold on to this? You guys got those 3 questions? Now we go to belief. Belief is powerful. What we believe to be true about the world will become true for us. Scientists are seeing that belief don't just change your emotional state, belief will literally change your physical body. No new drug today can be released without being tested against a placebo. Science, a scientific study called the Pygmalion effect, even shows that what we believe of other people will be true for them. School teachers who believe a kid is smarter than his classmates, that kid's performance